Welcome to the Downtime from WTWH Media with your hosts, Sarah Wynn and Sheri Kasperzak, bringing you everything you need to know from the week in manufacturing.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of The Downtime with Sarah Wynn
and Sheri Kasperzak. So glad to have you back on another episode.
Yes, welcome back. And to anyone else that might be new, Sheri, maybe we should take a moment to reintroduce ourselves. What do you think?
That sounds great. Yep.
Okay, so I'll start first. My name is Sarah Wynn. I am the senior editor for Packaging OEM. We are a digital-only publication catering to machine builders, manufacturers, and technology suppliers. You can find us at packagingoem.com and on LinkedIn, Instagram, and X.
Yeah, that's great, Sarah. I'm Sheri Kasperzak. I am the managing editor for automation and controls here at WTWH, and the publications that I oversee include plant engineering, control engineering, and consulting specifying engineer. These are all more legacy brands. These are some long time publications that have gained a real following. So if you've been following us for a long time, we're super grateful for you. And yeah, this is kind of our latest endeavor, the Downtime, our podcast.
Yes, so we are a weekly manufacturing podcast with Sheri and myself. We feature additional editors from WTWH Media. That's the company that is our umbrella organization with all of our publications. And we also bring on different guests we meet at shows, guests we meet on Zoom. Sheri's really good at that. Sheri brings a lot of interviews to this show, to this podcast.
Aw, thanks. Well, I have a background in journalism. It's my jam. That's what I do. I like talking to people. I'm a yapper, in case y'all haven't noticed.
A yapper, self-identified. Okay. I do think it's important to point out, for those that don't know, Sheri and I also both have a background in news. We both I worked in local news and national news. Sheri, what about you?
Yeah, I've worked in a lot of national news. I got my start in newspapers, but God, that makes me sound elderly. So yeah, I got my start in newspapers, and I've moved to digital news, a lot of national news brands that you probably recognize. So yeah, we're both newsies.
Yes. So thanks for listening to that. I always like to cue up a little Jay-Z when I say, "Let me reintroduce myself." Thank you, Sheri. Thank you.
Yep, you set it up, I knock them out. There we go.
I just throw it up and you slam it down like we're a basketball team, okay?
We are, exactly.
We're just missing the matching tracksuits. That's it.
It's coming. Watch this space. We're going to have our matching tracksuit day.
Okay, Sheri, let's move into the show now. We got a big agenda. We got a lot to talk about. What do you want to highlight to begin?
Absolutely. As you know, I was in Vegas a few weeks ago. It doesn't seem like it's been that long, but it's coming on a month now that I was at Las Vegas at Epicor Insights, and I got a ton of stuff. As you know, like I've had so many interviews with so many people. It was a whirlwind, and I'm just so grateful for everyone at Epicor for having me and for introducing me to so many amazing people. One of the people that I met while I was at Epicor Insights is Andrew Robling. He is the principal marketing manager at Epicor, and we talked so much about automation on the plant floor. What I really loved about our chat is that Andrew has a background in the manufacturing space from pretty early in his career. So Andrew told me when he was in college, he worked for a plastic injection molding company that catered to the automotive industry. And I found it fascinating that somebody who works with automation software now kind of has seen the entire evolution from very manual processes to things that are automated now. So it was a great conversation. It was great to chat with somebody who has that sort of range of experience where, if you wanted to learn how to do something, you either had to read a physical manual or go to the expert in the company, and that takes a lot of time. One thing that we noted about the ERP from Epicor is that it can pull documents, it can pull sort of user information that you would otherwise have to go hunt down. Like if you don't know how to do a specific task at your company, that might take a long time to track down the right person or track down the right documentation to figure out how to run a particular machine. And Andrew was saying that, one thing that he has seen is that now a lot of these processes, you can just ask the ERP, how do I do this? How do I run this particular machine? Or if I need a particular document, where can I find that? And it can pull it for you. And in some cases with the AI function, summarize what you need. So love that. We had a really in-depth conversation. So why don't you have a listen?
Hi, we're here at Epicor Insights 2025. We had with us today Andrew Robling. He is the Principal Product Marketing Manager here at Epicor, and we're going to talk about ERP software and what the capabilities are in a manufacturing facility. So thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, my pleasure. It's good to be here.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, sure. So I've actually worked for Epicor for 27 years, if you can believe that. Mostly doing different things, though. I actually started in professional services, so helping manufacturing companies implement software. Did a lot of time with automotive supply chain manufacturers, kind of what I spent a lot of my time doing. And then I was a solution engineer helping sell the software, and then moved into a product role and then product marketing role. But yeah, as a background, when I was making my way through college, I actually worked in a plastic injection molding plant, that made dashboards for Volkswagen and some other of the OEMs.
So you've kind of seen like an evolution of how processes work. Tell
Yep.
us a little bit about how things have gone from very manual processes to how these processes are now automated and streamlined.
Yeah, so Epicor actually acquired an interesting product about 2 years ago called Epicor Connected Process Control, and they have some interesting things. And just to kind of tell a story, I'm sure lots of your audience can appreciate this. When I was going through college and doing my job in the plastic injection molding plant, there was very little guidance, and there might have been some kind of an instruction, that was on a piece of paper, right? That I might have glanced at occasionally to kind of remind myself of the steps that I needed to do to perform my job. But that might have been back in the office too. I might not have had that, and there's times where I kind of felt lost out in the shop floor about the next thing I needed to do. So tools like Epicor Connected Process Control, I think, are very helpful. They have this aspect of a guided visual digital operating instruction that kind of would enforce me to go through the different tasks that I needed to do to get a quality part,
Right.
produce a quality part.
Absolutely. One conversation that I've had with a lot of people is the way that people learn and
Yes.
how the next generation of not just engineers, but
Yep.
of skilled tradespeople, how they learn how to do their jobs.
Yep.
Tell us a little bit about how you see that software kind of revolutionizing the next generation of people coming into the trades and into engineering as a career.
Yeah, and you kind of bring up a good point, right? There's this sort of skill shortage out there. It's very difficult to find people, and when you do find them, you want to keep them, right? You want to retain them. And speaking from experience, I know there's not a worse feeling than doing a job and not really knowing what you're supposed to do, right? You kind of feel lost out there. Maybe you don't have clear instructions on what you need to do. You kind of feel bad having to go ask your supervisor again because you don't want to look stupid, right? So you try and figure things out on your own, and you screw things up, and you're not feeling comfortable in your job, and maybe then you go look elsewhere, right? And look for another job at that point because you're not feeling so good. Yeah.
You could be doing other things.
Yeah. So yeah, tools that help onboard employees, I think, are really, really interesting ones. The Epicor Connected Process Control that I mentioned earlier that walks you through the tasks is kind of an interesting one, where if I was an experienced operator, the tasks that I need to follow may be smaller, right? I can just tell them the big picture, you got to do these 3 things because they've got experience and they can do that job, right? Whereas a new person that comes on board, maybe I'm going to walk them through 6 or 7 tasks to get to end of job. But I don't need someone walking, holding their hand, looking over their shoulder. I can get them being productive on the shop floor a lot faster using tools like that.
Right. talk a little bit about like the data side of things and how that automation for I guess establishing those processes, how that comes about. What sort of data is used to get to that point where we are documenting all of those processes?
Yeah, and I think that most companies have procedures and process in place today, right? There's work instructions that you might have as an example, and it's just a matter of digitizing those, right? So there's definitely tools, kind of low code, no code tools that allow you to take those work instructions you have and translate them into some kind of a guided digital operating instruction that maybe has integration into equipment that they're using on the shop floor as well, whether that's a PLC on a machine, or it's a torque tool or something like that that's that they need to communicate to. We can get those inputs directly from those devices as well, and track that information and ensure that everything that's being produced is happening in the within the proper limits, right? The proper process parameters out there.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's shift gears a little bit to things like predictive maintenance and preventive maintenance,
Yep.
and trying to find out what problems might arise. Let's even like expand it to supply chain disruption. Like,
Yep.
any problem that you can get ahead of is always
Yep.
a good thing. So tell us a little bit about how ERP and other software solutions can help organizations get ahead of problems, get ahead of supply chain disruptions,
Yep.
fix machinery before there's a problem.
Yep. Yeah, that's a great question. If you think of a ERP solution or an MES solution, really, it's kind of a data repository, right? It's capturing all the data that's happening in your business, whether that's, somebody receiving goods in the back door, or it's the information that's being captured from the machine, the downtime, the scrap values that are happening. I think there's a lot of really cool things you're going to be able to do with stuff like that, right? So imagine now that I'm on the shop floor and I'm producing parts and I'm tracking process parameters maybe at that machine. Maybe it's temperatures and pressures, and that if things are within a certain limit, somebody's established those limits, a lower upper engineering limit, that's going to be a good part. And if it's outside those limits, it's typically going to be a bad part, right? So today, the way that works is some smart person has to establish those upper and lower limits, right? Someone's manually saying, this is the lower limit, this is the upper limit. Now imagine if we're capturing all of that data, we've got all the good pieces that are being produced. We know the process parameters at the time a part was scrapped, that it can now start making those suggestions as far as, hey, your scrap percentage is 5% higher when your process parameters are within these limits, for example. And now you can start making decisions on, okay, maybe I want to tighten that up. So when that, let's say it's a temperature measuring, is outside a certain threshold, your system automatically alerts you and maybe automatically scraps that part, so it doesn't make it further down the chain, and people are wasting their time, producing things
Right,
that that there's no value to, and you get customers that are upset with you because you sent them a bad part, for
Right.
example.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Yesterday during his keynote, Steve Murphy talked about kind of the future. And when you mentioned things like
Yeah.
your automation kind of telling you, hey, listen, this part is not good. Like you don't
Right.
want to use that. Talk a little bit about the evolution of that. At what point do you see automation making those strategic decisions? At what point does it not just be a suggestion, but
Yeah.
for the automation to just make that decision?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think there's certain decisions that can be made, right? So as an example, if the part's outside certain process parameters and maybe there's a conveyor system involved, your system tells it to open the gate, eject that part, right? That's good. Where it gets kind of tricky is how far do you want to take it, right? So if the machine is operating outside of spec and your AI agent recognizes this, right? Do you want to shut down the machine?
Yeah.
Right? People are going to be like, whoa, hold on a second. Yeah, I think that's a human decision at that point, right? So, you still want to probably alert people. I still think that there's a person decision in those kinds of things that need to be, involved in. That person needs to make a decision on some of those things. Now, opening the gate and ejecting the part, maybe we say AI, yeah, let's do that, because it's not like we're destroying the part when we do that. We're simply moving it off the line, and then a human can come and take a look at it, review it, and decide if it should continue on or not.
Sure,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, we talk a lot about the human in the loop. You
Mm.
know, do you feel like that will always be the case? Will we always have to have human in the loop in the AI loop?
It's a good question. I think for the foreseeable future, at least the next 5 years, let's say, I think yes, there definitely needs to be a human in the loop. But there's probably a time where AI continues to evolve and get smarter, and we can start letting it actually act on the decisions that it's, act on the data and stuff that it's done analysis on.
Right,
Yeah,
absolutely.
agree with that.
I think those were the questions I had. Did you have
Okay.
anything else that you wanted to add in? Anything that I'm missing or that I should be asking you?
I mean, the one thing that maybe that would be interesting is I'm not sure how much your audience would be interested in the connected worker.
Okay.
All right. So connected worker is something that I'm hearing a lot about from analysts out there, and it's something that Epicor has kind of started to invest in. So most recently, you might have saw that we acquired a company called Acadia.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
Acadia is our connected worker platform. So it kind of extends things beyond the work or the shop floor, right? To beyond that. So think of things like, it might be something simple. How do I package this pallet, right? How do I package this pallet up? I want to give my worker, access to visual instructions, for example, that walk him through how to, put that pallet together as a simple example. It could be something like that. It could be something in the back office. In order to be compliant, we need to follow these certain steps from a financial standpoint, as an example, right? So I think the connected worker concept really does extend things beyond just the worker at a machine to other activities and things that are happening all through the organization. So I think that's something that your audience should be on the lookout for as well.
Absolutely. We always love a trend. So
Yeah.
that's amazing. Well, thank you so much. I really
Yeah,
appreciate you
my
taking
pleasure.
the time.
Yeah,
All
no
right.
problem. Yeah. Good.
Yeah, so thank you so much, Andrew, for that great interview. Really appreciate it. Now, Sarah, I understand, and correct me if I am incorrect, it is the summer of winning.
Yeah,
Boom.
I love it. You threw it up for me. I'll slam it right on down. We're talking lots of basketball analogies, nice little alley-oop. So yes, Sheri, the Summer of Winning content tour is underway. I have several visits planned. My first visit was last week. I stopped by a company called Conveyor Caster. They're in Westlake, Ohio. I have over 100 images and videos from the trip. I got a tour of their facility. They also have a nice work-life balance for their employees and are very committed to their core beliefs. And so I have to sort through everything, but I hope to bring it back to the listeners on the downtime so we can hash it out a little bit more. And yeah, Sheri, it was a good visit and just the first of many, I guess you could say.
That sounds great. We're excited for it, and we love to see the windmobile on a conveyor. Like it's top notch content right there. Go check it out on Sarah's LinkedIn. Yeah, and at our Instagram account, by the way, at the.downtime. Go follow us, please.
And I will say, I saw a lot of equipment. I saw assembly. They had some special, very beautiful scarlet and gray casters. And for those that may be new to the show or haven't heard me talk about it a million times, I am an alum of The Ohio State University, and being Conveyor Caster is an Ohio company. The scarlet and gray casters, chef's kiss, chef's kiss.
We love
Beautiful.
it. We love to see it.
All right. So, guys, if you're listening here, you should be doing something. And I'm going to take Sheri's spiel for the week.
Do it. Take it. Run with it.
Off I go. If you're listening here, you should be following us on LinkedIn. You should be following us on Instagram at @downtime. And you can also listen on Spotify, on SoundCloud, on YouTube. You want to watch us interact back and forth with each other? We have a video podcast on YouTube every single week. Look, she's doing the Vogue show too. Oh my. Yes, so if you are listening, make sure to follow us and also connect with us on LinkedIn. Send us a little message. Say, love the show. Oh, we'd love that.
We love that. Please do.
So sorry, Sheri, to take your thunder for the week. But that is the roll call. You've got homework assignments, audience. Follow on LinkedIn, follow on Instagram, etc.
There you go. Yeah, you did a great job, and thank you for taking that. That sounds great. Like, thanks everybody.
Feel like I just cut a wrestling promo or something. I feel like real hyped up.
Oh, we love the energy. Keep it coming. Woo!
Awesome, awesome, awesome.
So yeah, thank you so much for shouting out all of our social media and all of our platforms where you can find us, SoundCloud, Spotify, and YouTube, by the way. Yeah, so one thing I wanted to kind of break in and talk about is AI in Industry 4.0. We talk about it a lot. It's out there. Artificial intelligence isn't going away anytime soon. We at Control Engineering were honored to get an amazing article from Christine Nishimoto. She is the Director of Asset Management Products at IBM. A really insightful piece from her that really discusses how AI fits within the decision-making processes in Industry 4.0. And the article, which you can see over at controleng.com, that's controleng.com, why manufacturers need AI-powered decision-making for Industry 4.0. It dives into a lot of things that we hear about all the time. AI-powered maintenance, being able to figure out before there's a problem where you need to put your maintenance focus. That's another thing I talked about with Andrew Robling, by the way, at Epicor, a lot of ways that you can get ahead of problems before they become bigger problems, and then you have to replace machinery, for example. Asset monitoring, for example, to figure out if your machinery is running at its best and most optimal. She goes over some specific case studies here, and finally, how to do inventory. That's something that pops up a lot in some of the conversations that I've been having with people. How you can best source things, how to reshape customer demands and move things along the assembly line more efficiently. So that is a great piece from Christine at IBM. Go check it out at controleng.com. I'm going to include links, so you don't want to miss that piece from IBM at Control Engineering.
No, you've got to check it out. I was just looking at it. Man, you got to read it.
You gotta.
We'll have the link in our comments too on LinkedIn.
For sure. So Sarah, tell me what you've got going on over at packagingoem.com.
Oh, thank you. The whole website, Sheri. The key to my heart, www.packagingoem.com. We have a few stories in the works. The one I would like to highlight is actually from our friends at Multi-Conveyor. Sheri and I met Multi-Conveyor at Pack Expo Southeast in Atlanta.
Yeah.
We had a great time talking to them.
Shout out to Cheryl. She's amazing. Love Cheryl.
And that's where the Windmobile made its debut.
That's right.
It had never been on a conveyor until it met a multi-conveyor.
Absolutely.
So Packaging OEM has a story coming up about an elevated material handling system that can handle oddly shaped products. And in this case, Sheri, it's coffee pods.
The key to my heart.
Every week, I feel like we bring coffee up a little bit. That's what we do.
This podcast is brought to you by coffee, the brown, hot bean soup that keeps us going.
Look at, she even did the finger point. If you're watching on YouTube, you would have seen that.
Don't forget to subscribe.
We have a story coming up, and Sheri, our friends at Multi-Conveyor provided some photos and videos of their system. We're going to have a video for that on packagingoem.com's social media, so check it out. By the time this episode airs, it will be live, and you can engage with it. And the one fun thing, the Packaging OEM, I think, has a lot of personality. And when we do videos, we like to do fun songs. We've talked about EDM music at events, fast-paced. The other nice thing I like to do is to tie in the personality of the company that we're highlighting. And no one does that better than Cheryl at Multi-Conveyor.
For sure.
We go back and forth, and we pick the song that we both feel fits the video best. And we have the song settled for the video that you'll see next week. So stay tuned, and I'll tell Sheri in a break so she can get the inside scoop.
Ooh, well, my lips are sealed because I want everyone to be surprised. So we love it.
Sheri, yeah, we have a lot going on. So remember, again, follow us on LinkedIn, Instagram, X, packaging at Packaging OEM. And of course, the key to my heart, visit our website, www.packagingoem.com.
Yeah, and don't forget plantengineering.com, controleng.com, and csemag.com, consulting specifying engineer. Those are our sites. We always have some new stuff coming up. And yeah, so I think this brings us to the end of another episode of the Downtime, my friend. So they always go by too fast.
They go quick, and I do want to give one more shout out to another publication, automatedwarehouseonline.com. And you can follow them on social media as well.
That sounds great. We love it. We love a collab moment.
Yes.
All right. From all of us at the Downtime, which is to say me and Sarah, thank you so much for spending your downtime with us. And we can't wait to see you in the next episode. Bye.
Party of two.